Welcome everybody to this review of Stonehearth Alpha 20 release here on Additional Pylons Games. Today we're going to briefly outline the changes that have been made to Alpha 20 for Stonehearth here, but more importantly, after we've gone over the changes, I'm going to go through and just talk about some of the implications of what that means for as you build your new city here in Stonehearth. So first things first, there's been a whole update to the happiness system, to the moods and thought system, which I think is very well needed, but it also has some implications. So let's go ahead and take a look here at one of my Hearthlings. So Alora Creed, we can see there's this new bubble down here right next to some of her other buffs. We now have her thoughts, her overall mood. She is content. This is one of 5 moods. This is the middle of the 5 moods. So if we take a look here at her screen, we can see that she is content. You've got forlorn, glum, I believe, content, and then you start getting into the happier emotions. And you can see here that we've got these little bars that display the different things that have affected her happiness, right? So we've got a cramped environment, so area's pretty tight, have to watch my steps so I'm not to bump anything. So this means that if a character spends too much time in a tight or cramped space, it means that their morale, their mood is going to be decrease. Conversely, if they eat a good meal, or if they're full, anything like that, if good things happen to them, then their mood increases. Here's where it comes into play though, is that as a Hearthling's mood increases, their run speed, their work speed increases a little bit as well. So you want to prioritize your Hearthlings to make sure that they're happy, so that they're efficient, so that they're productive for you. So you got your moods and thoughts that have occurred. Second thing, as I said before, narrow spaces. So you've got these little houses over here that I've created, and Hearthlings that live in these little houses, let's take a look here. You can see Hearthlings that live in these little houses, they're going to feel a little cramped. However, the good thing is that one of the requirements is that Hearthlings like to have a window near their bed. So that's one of the small things that you can do. Having a better bed, having better furniture, having a bigger space are all different ways that you can impact their happiness to make sure that they are a productive member of your Hearthling society. Next change is that you'll notice is that your Hearthlings actually eat twice a day now. So you can see that I've got a bunch of Hearthlings here bumming around. Some of them are getting food, going up here to eat. They're going to be eating twice a day. I don't know if this means that they're eating twice as much food, or if it just means that they're eating half as much food twice a day, and it just kind of changes up their routine a little bit. Still have to experiment with that. But it does mean that you have to prioritize food a little bit more and be cautious of that, because your Hearthlings are going to be eating more often. It also means that they might be a little less productive if you're not feeding them good food, and then they're not happy about it. So it's this whole spiraling chain where you need to prioritize, again, their happiness. Couple other buffs, couple other changes. The developers have made early defense a little bit easier in 2 ways. First, you've got the rising courage buff. So if you hit town defense and your regular civilians go to the town defense marker, right? My marker's right here. If they come to this marker, they're going to get a gradual buff called rising courage. Every second that they're there, the longer that they're there, the more their courage rises, and the more apt they are to to defend themselves against any attackers that come in and try and hurt them. Previously, if you had some Hearthlings who were just regular civilians and they wouldn't defend themselves, they would just get hit, run away real quick, run back, get hit, run away, come back, and repeat until they died slowly. Now, your Hearthlings will defend themselves over time. They'll get this courage buff over time, and allows them to basically attack back a little bit. Secondly, you've got the ability to rescue fallen Hearthlings. And so the ability to rescue fallen Hearthlings means that if one of your Hearthlings dies in battle, they're not really dead. They're kind of like knocked unconscious, kind of like Pokemon, right? Another Hearthling can pick them up if you select to do so. Another Hearthling can pick them up, bring them to a bed, and get them there to rest and recover. So again, so you've got the Rising Courage buff, which allows you your early defense and your civilians to defend themselves a little bit better. And you've also got the ability to almost resurrect to help recuperate one of your early Hearthlings. We've got a save going on here. Anyways, here are a couple implications that I've seen from this. First of all, the big one, which is disappointing for me, you can't play Dwarfstone, at least not as easily, right? Dwarfstone, you can't just mine into the mountains like I've done here, right? I can't use these as effectively as housing spaces because your Hearthlings want to have big spaces, they want to have windows, they want it to be open. right? So Dwarfstone, not as popular, not as possible with this new update. Second, again, prioritizing happiness for your troops, for your Hearthlings. You want to make sure that they're well fed. You want to make sure that they have the amenities that they need. You want to make sure to be taking care of them so that they can be more productive. They can run faster. They can get a better buff. They can be happier and therefore work harder for you in order to accomplish the things you want to accomplish here in Hearthstone. Next, obviously, like I said, possibly more food is going to be needed for your troops, for your Hearthlings, just because they're going to be eating twice a day. You still need to do some research on how the eating twice a day versus once a day affects how much food they eat, but it's still something to take into account. With the again, better emergency / early defense is one of the other things we talked about. However, strategically, I think that this ability to possibly recover Hearthlings is very important. So let's say I've got a great Hearthling like Lizor here, right? She's okay. Let's find someone better. Let's find a better example. So there we go. So we've got Ty, my blacksmith, right? He's a level 6 blacksmith. He's a level 6 mind blacksmith, and I believe he's a level 6, yeah, he's a master blacksmith as well. So if Ty goes down, then I'm going to want him to recover because I've invested a lot of time into him. I want to keep him around because he can make armor, he can make weapons, he can make all sorts of valuable things for me. However, if I have another Hearthling, like, let's see here. Let's find somebody. All my Hearthlings are okay, but let's say I wanted somebody with higher spirit, right? If Deira were to go down, I could selectively choose not to recuperate her and then have another Hearthling come in and basically replace her. Even if I'm at my max or if I'm at my limit, I can select if I want to recover a Hearthling strategically in order to make up spot for someone who, you're kind of rolling the lottery a little bit, but you could say this person has stats of 2 mind, 1 body, and 3 spirit. I want to roll and see if I can't get someone different. Or maybe you have a lot of craftsmen and you need soldiers, kind of like in the position I'm in, actually. I need soldiers with high spirit and high body. I don't have that. I could almost intentionally get some of my Hearthlings killed or selectively not resurrect them and allow me to roll the dice and see if I don't get any Hearthlings that are more combat oriented or more craftsman oriented or something to that effect. So that's a quick rundown of Hearthstone Alpha 20 here on Additional Pylons Games. Hit like and subscribe. Check out some of the other series going on the channel. And if you want to watch me do my Let's Play, I've been working on this Let's Play since, I believe, Alpha 18. This is the town of Guarharacho. Come on, there we go. Town of Guarharacho. I did a time-lapse build and some other buildings here. And I'm going to continue doing some builds, so check that out. You'll see a playlist in one of the cards. So thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time here on Additional Pylons Games.